Welcome to the latest Watercolors Aquarium Gallery podcast, brought to you from the Aquarium Rush Studios in beautiful downtown Grand Rapids, Michigan. My name is Ben.
I'm Amy.
And I'm Charles.
We have kind of an interesting one tonight.
This was a weird one, I feel like.
Yeah.
It was hard.
When the idea first came up, it seemed like, hey, that sounds like a great idea. We should do that. That sounds fun. Trying to prepare for it, it was a hassle.
And then reality.
Yeah.
It definitely did seem like it should have been easier than it was.
Yeah. So it's super common. We have people come into the shop and say, hey, I have this fish, or I really like this fish. What should I put with it? And that was kind of the inspiration for the talk, quintessential freshwater fish combinations.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of requests to talk about like compatibility and aggression. And I feel like that's a bigger discussion for another day. This is like the fun version of that. It's like, What can you do? What's a good idea? Not like, will these fish kill each other? That's like a depressing conversation.
So I think there are a couple of different ways to approach it. And I had a couple of different thoughts on why you would have a discussion like this, or what would kind of inspire certain combinations. And really, it's either behavioral or aesthetics.
Yeah.
So aesthetics would be, how good do the fish look together? Mm-hmm. And so I kind of tried to look for some fish that had either colors that complement each other really well or that contrast each other really well when I was looking at that. Behavior, it's what's going to make a fish feel more comfortable, or what's going to make a fish really feel at home. Like there's, with a lot of cichlids, particularly some of the dwarf cichlids, they'll fight amongst themselves unless they have a distraction. And if they have a distraction, they'll pay attention to the distraction, defend their nests, and make babies. Yeah. So that's kind of a, it's a pretty good reason to put some fish together.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to bring up that example that actually relates to something on my list, you want to just jump into that one?
I was just looking at my list to see if I did any like dither type pairings with cichlids, and I wouldn't say that mine were dithers. I'd say mine are just ones that I thought would go cool together.
Well, it sounds like you should go for it, Charles. Let's go with your first combination.
I put...
Wait. I have an idea. What if we start out where you talk about, you bring up one fish, and then we come up with some ideas, or a guess. It's got to be a guess, like just a flat out guess.
Oh, that's fun. I mean, I already know what Charles is about to say, so.
Right. But a guess on what the second fish is.
Yes. That would be fun.
Yeah?
I think that's a good way to do this.
And then you can go in and talk about it like you normally would, but just state your first fish, and you can even do as much introduction into it as you want to before you state the first fish. What do you think? I think that's kind of fun.
I think that's a fun idea.
Okay.
Does that throw you off?
Nope.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, I'm just going to go straight in with the first fish. Epistogramma redneck McMasterei.
Let me cross that off my list here a minute. And what species of pencil fish?
I'm saying he did Caudo punctatus. That's my guess. It's either that or Morton thaleri, I feel like. I don't know which one you like better.
I thought it would be the diptails.
I went with the purple pencilfish.
Is that Morton thaleri or rubricatus?
I think
rubricatus, not Caudo punctatus. Sorry, I'm spoilers.
So you were right. Amy gets 2 points. Wait.
The idea I had here was the Epistogramma McMasterei we have in the store right now have been getting a lot of attention.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're a ridiculous red color. And
True.
So then I was like, so how would I complement that both behaviorally as a dither, but color-wise?
Right.
And I know that it's not like a true purple, but I do love that like that specific shade of red that the purple pencilfish get. That's very distinct.
It's very deep.
And I think that I don't think it would contrast, but I think it would complement.
I think that would be a magnificent combination.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Almost a quintessential combination.
Yeah. And I feel like that would potentially be a really functional breeding setup, but you could work it as a display too.
Yeah, it's pretty well noted that pencilfish are great dithers for epistos because they're tough. They can take a beating. Their scales are particularly strong. So if they do get nailed by one of the cichlids, it's not really going to do that much damage. Some of the delicate tetras, like cardinal tetras, they just can't take the aggression.
That's like the flashy, like movie poster version of this like combination because it works with so many pencils and so many pistos.
I was literally trying to find the most over the top pairing I could do for pistos and pencilfish.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is what I came up with.
I simply wrote down a pistos and pencils because I couldn't, for me, of course, it would have been Panduro because that's my favorite pisto. But Panduro with the diptail, which would be
I get Equis and SB mixed up. Which one is
Equis? It's Equis.
Equis is the common one. SB is the you'll never see it, right?
Right.
Okay.
The barred pencilfish is the SB. Yeah. So it's Equis pencil.
I would argue that I think the Pandoros would make, if you wanted not just a behavioral pairing, but and not a complementary color pattern, I think Pandoros and the purple pencilfish would be a good contrasting color.
Ooh, yeah.
That purple would be good.
Yeah.
I don't disagree. I love the light blue color on the Panduro. And the reason that I would make that combination is because I want all of the focus to be on the apisto without the distraction of another really cool, amazing fish.
Yeah.
Yeah. It all works.
Yeah.
I love the I love the comedy of doing a pisto trifasciata with Nanostomus trifasciata too. I don't know why that cracks me up, and they're both beautiful. Look great together too.
To be honest, I sold both of those to the same person.
Perfect.
Did you?
Yeah,
I never even got to see those pencils come up. I just saw that like, oh, I guess we sold 22 of them before they even left quarantine.
We did.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
They were worth it. I might have got us more.
Pencils need more love. Yep.
Yep, perfect. I only didn't put that combo on my list because I knew it was going to be on at least one of yours.
It was going to get covered, right?
Yes. Just like I said, I knew exactly what Charles would say. We talk about that all the time because it's perfect.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think there's a better way to, and this is my opinion, but I don't think there's a better way to display a pistos.
I can't disagree with that. Sorry, I have splash hairs on the sponge on my microphone that tickle my nose.
Better than in your mask.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
All right.
Good one, Charles. I like it.
All right. Is it my turn next?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, mine might be a little bit more like not controversial, but might inspire some more conversation. I had Scarlet Batis.
Oh, I had Scarlet Batis too.
Did you?
Yeah.
So maybe Charles needs to guess what both of ours are.
Dude, I have no idea.
Is Scarlet's the Davario, right?
Dario.
Oh, Dario. That's
Yeah.
what Davario is the Dario. Uh-huh.
Is that a hint what you'd pair it with? No.
No, not at all.
If I really had to throw out a guess, I would probably say some species of Sunadano.
Can you read mine?
No.
That's what I thought yours was going to be. I actually chose chili rasboras instead.
I thought about that.
Yeah.
I was scared that they
Yep.
I don't know the Scarlet Batis well enough, and I was like, maybe, but I'm scared they might beat him up.
They're too small.
Honestly, we have kept Scarlet Batis and even adults with Neocaridina without drama.
Really?
Yeah.
They will eat the babies.
Well,
But-
I mean, anything.
Yeah. But they have a pretty small mouth size. They are definitely like a true micro predator.
So that's a perfect reason for why I chose the combination that I chose with the Dario, right?
Yeah.
You went with, okay, what's going to pull the red out on the Dario? I went with what's going to pull the blue out on the Dario.
That's fun.
So soon to Daniel Axelradi.
That would be gorgeous. I
Yeah.
can't complain about that.
Yeah.
I also chose the chilies because they're a little bit more outgoing to me, and I felt like they'd provide a good dither for the Batis.
I can see that.
But the Sundanos, they just take a minute extra to open up than the chilies do. Chilies just tend to be kind of fearless for their size.
Right. I thought about if coming up with a combination of the Sundadano or the Barrar. So I looked at both with the little Batis. And what if you did 2 tanks and you got the Apisto that looks the most like the Batis, and then just one of the larger reddish fish that looks the most?
Yeah.
And you could do like a 5.5 gallon version and a 15-gallon version. And, it just
and then you scale it up a little
Yeah,
bit, and then
scale it
you
up
do
exactly.
an Akara and Serpe Tetras.
It's like a Goldilocks and the Three Bears here
Yes.
situation. It's like, this one's too big, this one's too small, this one's just right.
Well, that'd be the pistol, right?
Funny how we go back there every time.
I think your combination, you could do a little bit smaller tank and get away with it. Like, I think you could do that in 5.5 gallons.
That's what I was thinking. It's kind of why I chose the chilies too. I don't know. The Sunda Daniels are a little bit bigger to me.
Just a little.
You'd have to kind of maintain it a little heavy because the Scarlet Baddis don't tend to eat prepared foods or don't tend to eat dried foods.
Right.
They'll eat frozen foods well.
They do all right on frozen Daphnia.
Yeah. Although if you put the Neocaridina in there, that's a little bit of free live food too.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. We've definitely done that with them before.
I think that would be a really cool little tank.
You did like a 20-gallon with like some Baddis, like let's say 10, 12 chili reservoirs and just a colony of Neos. That would be a really cool display.
That would be sweet. Mm-hmm. I don't think you'd have to go up to 20 gallons though. In fact, I mean, with the Divario, they're gonna be like an inch long.
Yeah,
they're gonna get lost.
I don't think you're wrong. My brain immediately jumps to 20 long just because I don't know why.
It's such a great size. Instead of a 5-gallon with a pear and 10 or 12 chilies, now it's a 20 long with 6 or 8 Baddis and like 50 chilies.
That would be pretty sweet.
Oh, that'd be beautiful. Or like one of those 8-gallon longs.
That bookshelf tank.
Yeah. Oh, that would be so cool.
That's the use for that tank.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the bookshelf tank, we just got it in. It's 24 inches long, but then 6 by 6 or something like that.
6 by 8.
6 by 8.
Yeah, because I think it's a little bit taller than it is wide.
And it's perfect too. That glass is amazing. We all just keep going to look at it.
I know. It's got the 45-degree beveled glass, low iron. Mm-hmm. The seams are ridiculously right. It's a gorgeous little tank.
I've never looked at a glass box so intensely before. I thought, wow, look at the angles on this.
It's ridiculous.
We're such nerds.
All right, Ben, I stole yours, but what do you want to start with?
I'm going to stick with the theme we're going here, and I'm starting with, and you'll see the cheat here, Sunda Daniel Goblinus.
Oh. That's the one we have downstairs, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm just going to say, because I think that you disagreed with me about the fish that we ended up putting in with them, Nanacara anomala. No?
Are you going with the fish that's in there now? No?
Okay, now I'm going to have to rethink them.
Oh, yeah. Here's like a total like giveaway, right? I looked at it and went, wow, I never would have thought that, but I love that. Nobody gets a point. It was the Kubota Rasboras.
Oh, really?
I think they look fantastic.
They did look cool together.
Yeah.
Like, we needed more. Like, I don't think that you want the Kubota group to be as big as the Sunda Daniel group,
completely,
though.
yeah. Right now there's 3 or 4 Kubota Rasboras in there and like 20 of the Sunda Daniel Goblinus.
I think if you did like a 2-to-1 or like a 1-to-3 ratio between the two.
I think so too.
Like
a big group of Sunda Daniels.
Yeah, like I just ordered 25 more. If we put those in there and like 6 or 8 of those Kubotais.
I think it'd be sweet.
2 schools is a hard look to pull off.
If they're, I completely agree because it just looks like a blend. But with the schools being so different, the Kubotais tend to stick together a little bit. And the Goblinus they kind of hang as a group. I don't know. The part of it is because we did it, and those Sunda Daniel Goblinus are just such amazing little fish that I needed to have them on this list so I could talk about them.
Yeah. You know where my head went, which is kind of interesting, is those Cruciatus loaches with the Goblinus.
Oh, that would work.
Like, because so we're either thinking of like things that offset each other or like top of the tank, bottom of the tank. And like that would be a really cool combo for like, they're not going to visually set each other off that well, but I think behaviorally they'd be really cool together.
I think you're right.
My mom really loves mixing like schools. And I actually cheated a little bit and I talked to her about this podcast because I was having so much problems coming up with stuff. And some of the ideas she threw at me was she loves mixing cardinals and rummy nose tetras.
Wait, let me scratch that one off my list because that to me is like a quintessential, historically quintessential.
Yeah, that is like there are very few of these on my list that I feel are like a true quintessential, like a classic combo.
Right.
That is.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah. Can I pause for a second? Because Robbie, did you see we added those fish to Sally's tank in the front, you should check out how cool they look.
Yeah.
The Goblinas, yeah, they look great.
Yep.
Another one she and I talked about a little bit was I once did a display with 20 cardinal tetras and 10 albino cardinals. And I know you don't like it, but hear me out. They behaviorally hung out together. And if you like the contrasting, now I've definitely skewed away from liking this sort of thing, but if you like the contrasting color in your school, but you want it there, that's one of the best ways behaviorally I've ever gotten it to work.
It's almost like kitsch. Like, it's like, it's really fun. Like, it's not classy. It's not like high end, but it's like sparkles in there. It's so cool.
And if you're into that sort of thing, that's fine.
Yeah, I can see that.
Having a bunch of really amazing fish and then a bunch of fish that just don't quite look right.
You just don't like albinos.
Party pooper.
I'm going to add 12 albinos to my list now.
Do you know, an entire albino tank. We have somebody who's doing that right now, and I'm actually really enjoying watching it play out.
Okay, I got one that you might like. It's not an albino, but it plays on that theme.
It is your turn anyway.
It is?
It is.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm just throwing out schooling, mixing things.
Okay, so this is like your turn, though. So you got to just pick one, and then we get a guess. And
Okay. Diamond tetra.
I think they would look great with Emperor Tetras.
Oh yeah, that's a really good option.
Was that right?
Based on Charles, that might be a pretty good option.
It was a really good guess, but it's more gimmicky than you think it is.
One
is
of the other
Pearl Garamis because of diamonds and pearls?
You're on the right track.
Really?
No.
I know, like one of the other like hemigrammas, like the garnet or something like that.
It's a common name that we don't use in the store.
Okay.
Well, that's not helpful.
Like diamond tetras and gold barbs are a pretty good combination.
That would be
But I
really
know
good.
you
That
don't
would
like gold barbs.
You want to know?
Yeah.
Jewel tetras, also known as Serpé tetras.
Oh, yeah. I think that combination would work very, very well.
Nice. Yeah. That's cool.
Like one really sparkly white one and one really brightly colored, not so iridescent one.
Yeah, I think that's a great combination.
That's what she keeps right now.
Right. Is
They're
it
both breeding in her tanks.
just those two?
She's got some other fish, but those are definitely the major thing in the tank right now.
Right.
Yeah. And they behave a little bit different enough that I feel like they might not totally just mishmash together. Because a diamond tetra is not a Hyphosabricon species even. It's Munchausia, isn't it?
I don't know.
They act a little different than the Serpés. How about that?
Our studio audience is looking it up, I think.
Yes.
I'm pretty confident. Yeah, that they're Munchausia species.
Good
that
for
has
you,
been
Amy.
confirmed.
Give her 2 points.
2
Because
points,
you and I,
Amy.
1 point for each of us not knowing that. She did.
Amy's kicking our ass, by
The
the way.
rules are made up and the points don't matter. All right. What other fun ones do I have? Okay, I have blue paradise fish on here, and my combo is for some a little bit different reasons, but there's a lot of things that look
blue
cool.
paradise fish, and I tried to think, what would I pair with those? And I just couldn't come up with one. So, interesting.
This is my go-to combo for 2 reasons. The first is definitely color. If somebody wants colorful tank, this is what I tell them to do.
Odessa barb.
Not Odessa barbs.
Darn.
Gold barbs?
That was definitely a thought. The reason I chose this one instead is kind of totally unrelated to color. So I would have chosen those if I didn't come up with this other thought. And I'm just going to continue because you guys aren't going to know what I'm talking about. I chose the sunburst platies instead.
I thought maybe platies was going to be it.
Yeah. And one of the reasons they look gorgeous together. Like that's going to give you all your primary colors. It's going to, if you want variety of color, that's an awesome combination.
I completely agree.
But also, we've got a lot of people who like live bearers and don't like dealing with all of the babies. And
So you're sticking a predatory fish in the tank to solve the problem.
it's one of the serious conversations I've had with people because people aren't comfortable with culling. They don't have room to have multiple tanks, but they still like the behavior of having the babies and they love the platies. So having somebody around who's going to cull for you isn't that bad of an idea.
It's not a bad plan.
So that's why I ended up going for the yellow platies instead of the yellow barbs.
Yeah.
Because I think it's fun to see all of that happen.
I think that would be a great, fun tank.
Mm-hmm. And you could do it easily in a 20 and add a couple of other fish to it too.
Doing that combination with some good, easy, bright green plants. To me, that would be a great kids tank.
Yeah.
No castles or red gravel or, keep it natural, but then have fish like that are just super fun.
Yeah. Amazing behaviors, really personable, really outgoing.
Nice and hardy. Yeah.
It's hard to go wrong.
Nope. I think it's great. Good job.
And there's so many other things you could put with both of those. You could even scale down the same idea and do guppies and honey gouramis, which I did think of too.
That would be a good combination.
Wow, so many of our ideas scale up and down right now.
I know. It's because the same concepts apply to like all types of tanks.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is really turning into like a compatibility light conversation.
That's sort of what I was hoping would happen, because fish do eat other fish if they can fit in their mouths,
It's
but
true.
they don't eat big fat ones that can't.
Right.
True.
All right. So for my next one, it's totally going to feel like a cheat. So here's the other way that I approached this, right? I pulled up one of our wholesale lists and I closed my eyes and I moved my mouse over it like as many times as I could. So it slid up and down, and then I put my finger on a spot
Ooh, that's
and
fun.
looked to see what it was. And some of them, okay, there's one other one on my list that I actually decided to stick with it.
Wait, I need to make a note. We need to do that and do plan a tank around a fish. You don't get to choose the fish.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, okay.
That'd be fun. That's
Anyway.
a good one. Yeah. So I actually landed on neon tetra.
Ooh.
And this is the one you're going to be like, oh, come on.
Part of me really wants to say that your answer is more neon tetras.
2 points, Charles.
Really? That was amazing.
Just the way you were looking at me when I said the cardinal tetra one.
Yeah.
So honestly, that was part of why I struggled with this and I almost led with neon tetra so that I could like make this point. With amazing schooling fish, a tank full of just that fish, to me, is a stronger combination than mixing it with something so often.
I 100% agree. I was telling Amy earlier that this list was so hard for me because I innately skew towards wanting to make species tanks that going out of my way to think, all right, so how would I put this with something else? I was like, this is really hard.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you threw my platies in with those neon tetras, they both look worse, I feel like.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can sort of fudge it a little bit and have like a bigger group of tetras and only a couple of other things, but the more you add, the more chaos there is, and I don't feel like it looks better.
Yeah. Yeah. I was surprised at how much I liked the Cabotai Rasboras with the Sundadeños downstairs. But see, that was why I reacted so strongly with the albino.
Yeah.
Right? Like you could do 25 cardinals and 25 albino cardinals. Or if you want to go even better, just do 50 cardinals.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if it's 100 cardinals and 10 albino cardinals, I can see it a little more. It's just the accent.
Amy's making sense.
You actually like it this time.
Here's my thing. I have never seen a neon tetra tank with fish that weren't neon tetras that I thought benefited by having the other fish. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
And every tank I've ever seen neon tetras, I have always thought this would look better if there were just more neon tetras.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to have this conversation because I think that concept is so accepted for cardinals and not for neons. And neons seem to do better not in large groups than cardinals, but that doesn't mean that they don't look better that the same way.
I also think that the more, I'll describe it as more intense coloration of a cardinal allows it in some situations to benefit or do okay with being mixed with other stuff. Like,
that's true.
I think a rummy nose cardinal combo works. I don't think a neon tetra rummy nose combo would work.
Or a rummy nose cardinal bleeding heart tetra combination like the biotope we have downstairs.
Yeah.
I think that works really well with the cardinals, and I don't think it would be as strong with neons.
No, and I was a little suspicious of it at first. Like, I mean, I trust our biotope expert, but I was like, really, those three, are they going to look, is that going to look cohesive? Because that's really what we're looking for, is like, does it look like one display? Totally does. It looks awesome.
Yep, totally does. Yep. I think that's the only one on my list that was like,
Cheating.
Yeah.
No, it needed to be said.
I'm going with a cop out.
It needed to be said.
Okay, good. Thanks, Amy.
I'm glad you did because I was not brave enough to do it. Oh, it's my turn. Jeez.
I think it's your turn, yeah.
I was like, man, we got quiet there. All right. Okay. Coolie loaches.
A quintessential Coolie Loach combination. Okay, so let's talk this through a little bit, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think you'd have to go with a sand bottom.
Yeah.
So you'd see the Coolie Loaches every once in a while. Otherwise, they would just always disappear.
Yeah. And it would have to be a dither.
Right. So it's got to be something that's going to be like swimming out in the open. And
my first thought
bold.
was marble hatchets, but I don't know if Charles would say that.
I'll give you a hint. It speaks to my love of biotopes.
So it's bettas, I bet.
It's either a betta or a barb. Hexazona barbs.
There you go.
Yes.
I get a point.
Yep, that makes sense.
An alternative pairing I'd put was, and this is the really scaled up version. Like I think the Hexazona Coolie Loach thing can work in a 20. This next one, you need like a 180 for it to work. Clown loaches, wild tiger barbs.
Ooh, that would be
that would
pretty.
be very cool. Okay, but going back to your first one with the Coolie Loaches and the Hexazona barbs, how would you escape that tank? I mean, was I onto something?
You were actually. What I would want is sand bottom tank, a boatload of driftwood, and planted heavily on the driftwood Java fern.
Okay.
And then I really wanted the Hexazona barbs and the Coolie Loaches because I really love the what's the word I'm looking for? The coalescence of like those two different types of striping patterns moving up and below, but in different ways. Like the Coolie Loaches are very like snaky, and then the Hexazona barbs are pretty straightforward. But they also have that nice little green on them that I think that on the dark leaves I'm used to seeing of Java ferns would like kind of like shimmer.
I think that would be a really cool scaped tank.
That would be beautiful. And I bet like it would draw out the really fun parts of both of those fish's behavior. Yeah. Like if you had a good tangle of driftwood in your tank, I bet the coolies would venture up a little bit farther, weave themselves in and out of that rather than hiding under your sponge filter all day.
I think you'd need like 25 or 30 Coolie Loaches in it.
Well,
like just
you
a
do
pile.
anyway.
So you can see one.
But I don't know. It
would be worth it.
Both of those fish would really display well in that tank.
I think you're right.
Yeah, it would be a really cool one.
Yep.
And it's a pseudo biotope because they're both Bornean natives. The Java fern very clearly is not, but you know, it melts well with how I would want to display the tank.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then, I mean, we're breaking out of the discussion, but I don't know, betta. What betta would be Bornean that you would put in there? I guess.
I would probably do one of the smaller mouth brooders, like Betta diminuta.
Ooh, I love those. The ones we have right now are gorgeous, so that helps.
They're amazing. I haven't seen dimidiata with that much color before.
It's great.
They're so cool.
It wouldn't fit the biotope, but my thought was brownorum for that green square.
See, that would work.
It'd be pretty.
I mean, if you wanted to really... Actually, I think that works better than you think, because if you fudged it a little bit... there are all sorts of Coolie Loaches, the Malay Peninsula, and there's debate on whether the continental barbs up there are pentazonas or hexazonas.
There we go.
So
as long as we can create controversy, we can make all sorts of excuses.
So there you go. There's
Beautiful.
your quote-unquote biotope with Brenorum.
I like it.
Beautiful. All right. I've got a fun one. I had the thought of doing like a little nano hill stream setup. So I chose any of the Aromizon species. They're the little ones. They tend to not get more than an inch or two. And, in like a 10 gallon with something else.
All right. So she's going Biotope E.
Yeah. Like same environment, not necessarily same, because I didn't look it up.
So same environment. It's going to be faster moving water. I think I'm going to go with the Danio species. And I'm going to guess Pearl Danios.
I didn't choose Pearl Danios. They were a little bigger than I wanted them to be.
Oh, are you thinking, what is it? Tinwinnie?
Yep.
2 points, Charles.
Yes. The gold ring Danio is the common name for it. They're gorgeous. They're one of the smaller Danio-y Danios.
Teeny weeny.
Yeah, teeny weeny Danios. But I'm picturing this in a 10, and you could definitely do pearls in there, but like not in the type of group with the type of schooling behavior that I would want to see. Fast flowing. I think they'd offset each other really well. It'll be probably stripes and spots, which is fun. And the glimmer that you get off of those Danios is beautiful.
I think it's a great point that in just about any size tank, down all the way, I would even go down as far as a 2.5, but for sure down to a 5.5. There are smaller fish you can do and still do a decent sized group. Just pick a slightly smaller species.
Yeah, the idea that a betta is the only thing that can go in a 5 is boring. There are so many tiny fish out there.
Even though there are some awesome bettas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Bororas.
Yeah.
There's an entire genus, guys.
And it's a bit of a rant, but people are so weird about small tanks. Like, okay, let's talk about an Oscar. Most people, minimum size, 75 gallons.
Right.
Scale that down to a 1-inch fish, and you theoretically could put it in like a quart. Like if we chose the same rules, right?
Right.
Like think it through on that level. If it's too many fish, do more water changes. It's a 5-gallon tank. You take out an extra cup a week.
As long as there's still good small fish that belong in that tank, absolutely.
Exactly. You can do it.
Yep.
It's possible.
So Bororas, Sundidanios.
I got one that's going to be really controversial at this table. Green neon tetras.
In a 5?
In a 5, I think we're pushing it there.
If it was just 6.
Yeah. From when I've worked with them, and this is me going on my experience, and I'm extrapolating a little bit from, there isn't a lot of good behavioral data of green neons in the wild. But they shoal and school very differently in the Parakyridion genus. The neon tetra is probably the most gregarious, but it doesn't school the most. Schooling is a specific behavior.
Right.
Cardinal tetras skew more towards shoaling and being a little less gregarious, honestly, in the wild. They'll go out into like hunting parties of groups of like 7, and they'll gather up at night. So from what I've seen of green neon tetras, I feel like they are the least affected of the 3 that I've worked with, being in a smaller group. I've kept them in groups of 5 or 6, and they don't seem to care.
I'm not disagreeing with you about the group size.
Yeah.
Just the space.
Yeah.
They're definitely smaller than the other 2 species.
Yeah.
Like even if the group size was okay,
Right.
I could never see myself being okay with 5 cardinals in a 5.
No.
But like a green neon has probably a third to maybe like 40% of the mass of a cardinal.
I'm not 100% convinced on that one.
Yeah,
I see where you're coming from. I see where you're coming with it, and you're making all the good arguments. My gut just tells me I'd want to see him at a 10.
I said it knowing it was not going to be well liked at the table, but I felt like it was worthwhile for the discussion.
I appreciate the discussion. You know?
Yeah. It's like, I don't necessarily, to me, it's not cruel. It just seems wrong. Like, you know.
You're like, I don't know, man. Seems kind of sus.
Yes, exactly. That's my full response to that.
Okay.
Yep.
What about an 8-gallon tank with 6 of them?
I'd be fine with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Some of that's just the dimensions, I feel
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
If you get a little bit extra length, to me, that's more fun.
Yeah.
Like a 5.5 is a very compact tank.
I want to be clear that I threw that out there because I think for our listening audience, having something that we all agree on that topic is a little bit more grounding for them.
I agree. Yep.
Just for context of how we talk here.
Yeah. But several gourami species, several betta species all fit in that 5-gallon tank.
Yep, for
Like
sure.
Dozens of each.
So many
Yeah.
live bearers. There's so many options.
Almost all of the killifish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In different ways, shapes, and forms.
Yeah.
But absolutely.
Yeah.
I blow so many people's minds when I'm like, when I was keeping and breeding Nothabranchus at home, I was keeping and breeding them in 2.5.
Oh, yeah, me too.
And that's
4 different
fairly
species.
standard.
Yep. Yep. The blue Galaris is the only killie I can come up with off the top of my head.
That's definitely a
I guess Tanganyikan killies.
Well, but if you
they're a
did
pain.
one blue Galaris in a 5.5, you don't
No,
think it
it's-
would be?
An adult male is going to get to 6 inches.
Oh, yeah.
they're
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the ones that we had were like 4.
Right.
And I'm like, well, that's a little bit bigger than Nothos.
They were
Yeah,
babies.
they were.
okay.
I had a 6-inch male for a while. Oh, he was
I
incredible.
can't even imagine. Something like that would be ridiculous
They
to
don't
see
look
in
real.
person.
Yeah, they don't look real.
Just painted on
It's
it.
like a pool toy. Like
Okay. I'm going to skew the conversation a little bit because I'm kind of enjoying poking at what's your limit for a nano tank here? What's the smallest tank you would do CPDs in? Celestial Pearl Daniels, I guess I should specify here.
You know, I think that you could do them successfully in a 10, but you're never going to see them.
yeah, they're such wimps.
Yeah. I'm thinking, like, I don't know if you did your combination.
I did, and I'll get to that when it's relevant, but this was completely separate just because...
Yeah.
Just the tank size discussion.
Yeah, because Celestial Pearl Daniels are probably one of the, aside from Chili Rasboras, I think might be the most popular nano fish that I get asked about, or
That's
at least
very
small tank
very
fish.
possible, yeah.
And so
Because the
I think...
picture of them looks so good.
Yeah, so I think that like us discussing maybe that fish specifically might be worthwhile for talking about small tanks.
All right, so I'm gonna answer it without giving away your combo fish. So to me, that fish, if it's kept with just the right species, it comes out and is active.
Yeah.
And with that combination, I would want to see it in at least a 15-gallon. So could you successfully keep a small group of CPDs in, heck, a 5.5-gallon tank? They're going to hide most of the time. They're not really a schooling fish. They're more of a, I don't know, not really even shoaling.
More of a wimpy fish.
They're more,
Yeah.
I would describe them as behavior of like a small barb.
Yeah.
And I wanted to bring that up when you brought up the Tinwini Daniel, because I was like, you're right. That really is a small Daniel. Like a Celestial Pearl Daniel is not a small Daniel behaviorally.
They don't behave anything like the other Daniels. The Tinwinnies, they still do that like flashing back and forth thingy. They'll do the school at the top thing. They're fun to watch in that way.
Even the Erythromicron, which is probably the closest relative, they swim around like relatively normally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how's that for
I like it.
an answer?
Like, could you do in a 5.5, 2 males, 3 females? That's how we've got those butterfly barbs down there. I bet it would be pretty similar. Like, the male's going to be out a good amount of the time. The other ones are going to kind of hide. You'd probably want a whole bunch of moss to, like, get them comfortable. And I think that would be just fine.
I've done it.
I would disagree.
The first tank that I set up for my wife was a 5-gallon, 2 males and 3 females.
But were they out?
The males would be, the females definitely flitted around between stuff. So you're pretty on the money there.
That was just a random guess. I've never seen that before, but
Yeah.
But anyways, the combo that Ben's alluding to here is that I think the perfect dither for celestial pearl danios is Chopre danios.
Yes.
They are a small, active danio that isn't nippy. They hang out near the top, and at least in my experience, when you mix those two together, for some reason, the celestial pearl danios, they'll still hang out on the bottom half of the tank, but they like almost behave like they want to school with the Chopres.
They'll look at it as a, hey, those guys are swimming around. Maybe we can too. No,
Yeah.
I don't want to do it.
So for me, the ideal tank for these guys, and it's been discussed in the podcast before, but it's really, for me, this is a quintessential pairing,
Yeah.
is that if you have Planet Aquarium where you have negative space in not the middle, but somewhere there's a break in the plants.
Yeah.
And the idea is that the celestial pearl danios, as the Chopres are flitting around in the upper water, the Chopres will be doing it in the bottom. So they'll be coming in and out of the plants, and it just looks cool.
I think that works. I think it's a great combination. Yep.
That's all I really had to say about that. It's been discussed before, but it was, for me, this had to be talked about in this podcast.
I think that actually that your discussion of that combination of fish, I think that was the inspiration for this discussion.
yeah.
Yep. What else works that good?
Yeah.
Yeah. What else works that good, Amy?
All right, I'm gonna have a fun one for you guys to guess on
Cool.
because this one I think is like perfect for riffing. Peacock gudgeons.
Whoa.
Oh. Tough.
And I know this is a personal favorite for you, isn't it?
Yeah, I love those fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a little bold for me to choose it. But they pair so well with so many things.
I thought about doing peacock gudgeons, but I couldn't come up with the perfect fish.
Well, maybe Amy's got your answer.
I know. I think the closest I came was emperor tetras. But so that's my guess. I can tell by the
Not
That's the-
emperors. I've
you're
never been
wrong,
that
dude.
into them. I know they're so cool, but not emperors.
They don't do it for you. They don't do it for you.
Right.
I'm stalling for time because
I know, right?
I don't have a guess.
I
got-
went a little bit on color.
a little bit
Okay.
on color. Oh, Furcata rainbows?
That was actually my first instinct.
Really?
But I wasn't sure if the peacock gudgeons would pick on them
No, I should be fine.
because I think they would look gorgeous. I
Yeah.
ended up settling on lemon tetras
Oh.
because I thought they were a little bit more robust but still have the great color.
Yeah.
I love lemon tetras. They're actually pretty up there on my favorite
We
tetras.
don't use them enough around here. We should.
Yeah. It's like if the Serpé's the good red, the Flame's the good orange, they're the good yellow.
Agreed.
And those peacock gudgeons have that perfect yellow stripe on the fin. You got to have a good yellow with them.
I think it'd draw it right out.
Yeah. The Furcatas, like they've got those fluffy fins that I wasn't sure if the peacocks would pick on.
I've never had issues with peacock gudgeons picking on stuff.
Because I think that would probably be a better combination. I mean, you can take the point if you want, because
Okay,
that
I'm
was
gonna
my
take
first thought, but I didn't want to be wrong.
I'm taking the point
You
because
have
I'm
more experience
way
with them
behind.
than I do. But peacock gudgeons have great behaviors. They're a good bottom dwelling fish. You just need something to offset them.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
like they don't need to show them up. They don't need to look as cool because can anything? Like the colors on peacock gudgeons are so stunning.
They are striking. They're the Mandarin Dragonette of the freshwater world.
Yeah. So you just need something to draw a little bit of the color out. Well, you really blew Charles away there. I don't think you
No,
saw
actually-
that reaction.
He's probably thinking, no, the rainbow darter is.
No, I literally stopped and went, I'm going to try and recreate the face.
Yeah. And I know that the Dragonette isn't an actual goby, but they're also both like gobies that aren't really kind of gobies, you know? Super colorful.
Goby adjacent.
Yeah.
Gudgeons, I think, are in family Gobiidae.
They are actually like
Yeah.
a true goby,
True goby.
but they're so different.
But they're a gudgeon, not a
yeah,
goby.
like they act different, they look different than any other gobies I know.
Yeah, and they're actually really quite easy to breed
If you can find male.
if you can find male-female combinations, right? And then I think you want to like 2 or 3 females per male, I believe is the way you want to do it, if I'm remembering correctly with those.
And they're like small cave spawners.
Small caves, yeah, little
Yeah.
tubes.
Do they have parental care?
Yes,
Like the dad will take care of
pretty
them?
extensive, yeah.
Okay. Like
Yep.
through their whole juvenile phase, like cichlids?
Definitely into their juvenile stage, yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's a weird behavior for a goby.
I know, right?
It's a weird behavior for any fish that's not a cichlid.
That's true. Yeah. No, they're super cool.
Yeah, great fish.
I don't remember what I had. I think I had them with emperor tetras. Maybe that's why I thought that's what you
It's a
should
good
do.
combination too.
If you're into that sort of thing.
I actually like emperors. My brain just never goes to them. I kind of like the little blue ones the best.
The carries.
Yeah. Which are actually, I think, the least colorful emperor tetras.
I like the full on, like the emperor tetra. I think those are just great.
And what's that? Palmeri?
Palmeri. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very cool fish.
Good job, Charles. I'll give you a point for that. Just
Can we start keeping points in every podcast?
Yeah, we should do
This is
that.
fun. I want to win.
Charles actually is winning now.
He's got a lot of them.
Yeah. Yep.
Getting real lucky.
Does that mean it's my turn?
I think so.
All right. So this one was actually like, okay, I'm going to be like full on legit here. And this is a combination that I think works really well. Mm-hmm. Which one should I name? I'm going to go with wild type silver angels.
Oh.
I was thinking about talking about angels and serpes.
2 points, Amy.
And I know you like them too.
Yep.
It's a great combination. I don't know what it is about it.
Eco-complete, a ton of val.
All of the val.
Yep. A 75-gallon tank where you might be able to pull off 2 pairs of angels and 50 serpe tetras.
Oh, unrelated. Oh, okay, only mildly related. I had a guy who he bought 6 angels and he was hoping to get a pair. He came in today and said, "So I have 3 pairs."
Oh no!
3. Nice.
I was like, "How do you know?" Well, they all spawned in the last 24 hours.
Wow.
So
That's
now he's like trying
amazing.
to figure out what he's supposed to do.
You know, anybody who breeds angels particularly by accident is like, what do I do with all the babies? Because they have like 100.
Yeah.
And now he has 3 of them. That's
It's
awesome.
angelfish. If he raises them up, he'll have no problem selling them.
It's totally true. We'll
Yep.
probably take them.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
That's great.
So maybe 3 pairs in my 75-gallon tank with my wild angels. And I love the way wild angels with that strong vertical bar look swimming through val scenario.
There's some things that are just like instant aquascape,
Yep.
you know?
Yeah.
Throw a nice piece of driftwood in there for an accent and
Yeah. But I don't even know
But
if
you
it's
don't need it.
necessary. Yeah. I think
It's
it would just
definitely
look
not
great.
necessary, but if you just get lucky enough to find the exact right piece of wood, put it in.
Yeah.
it's like
that's
the
probably
little
true.
finishing touch.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
cool.
See, I can do it and be like just full on normal and straight and like common fish. Mm-hmm. See?
There's nothing inherently prettier about rare fish.
No, they're just funner.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
More gooder.
Yeah. That's it. That's a pretty easy discussion. So, Charles, we're up to you, right?
Okay, I got one that might stump you guys a little bit. I put bubble nesting betta species, and I say this, and I want you to. I'm cheating a little bit.
Yeah.
Thinking a genus, because I think this is an insane riff ability here that you can have.
A genus that would go well with bubble nesters.
I'm going to go Corydoras.
She's got it.
Wow.
She's got it.
It's got to be something for the bottom, and I mean Charles and Cory's.
That's true.
Well, I specifically threw Corys here and not like coolie loaches, because Cory cats, they're a little bit more durable because they have that like armor.
Yeah.
Just in case the betta gets a little feisty.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that would be super fun. What about the risk of during courtship? Is the male going to be able to get those eggs into the nest fast enough to keep it away from the Corys?
It depends on your male.
Okay.
The Betta smeridina spawn that I talk about, like the male who was like the best dad ever, that was in a tank with Cory cats.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Especially the wild type bubble nesters, they're pretty sneaky. Like I had one male that I'm pretty sure at some point I had like one of those fake plastic logs in the bottom of the tank. I'm pretty sure at some point he built a nest in there because fry showed up somewhere, at some point, and I never saw a nest.
That's pretty sweet.
So cool.
So I think if they can find a way or around cory cats, they'll find it.
Right.
And cory cats aren't like a get-in-your-face predator. They're just going to take the opportunity.
They're just really sneaky.
Yeah.
What species would you put in there?
I personally really love sturbays. They're one of the warm water cory cats, so like a lot of the bubble nesting species, you want to have them a little bit higher, so I think they'd pair really well there. But I also think that as long as you're aware of, like, if you're not choosing something like a Paleotis, which are definitely, at least in my mind, one of the more cool water cory cats, you can pair a lot of your bubble nesting bettas to the cory cat or the pattern you want. Like, I feel like a Mahachiensis Corydoras similis pairing would be amazing.
Ooh, that'd be pretty.
You know?
Yeah, that sheen that the similis has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think that I think that's a great opportunity for people to just go with the combo that they want.
Yeah.
Like, do you want
or like
to contrast?
Mahachiensis in like a green laser or something like that if you want to go like bright colors.
That would be pretty fun.
Yeah. There's like, do you want it to be I want to say absurd, and I don't mean that in like a disparaging way. Everyone here at the table knows that I love what quote unquote absurd things. Or do you want to go with, you want to contrast patterns? Do you want to contrast colors? Those options are all there with those two genera.
It's a common question. What can I put with my betta species?
Yeah. And my instinctive response is always
cory cats. I think I love it.
I'm actually amazed that this is the first time cory cats have been brought up in this discussion particularly.
I kept looking for excuses for them, and I found other options.
Yeah, and I kept thinking like, well, I can't put a cory. I could put a cory with any of these, but like, it's the easy answer.
It's true. Because
they can go with pretty much anything. They're so tough and so peaceful.
Yeah. I mean, there are some species out there that I'm a little like, like, I don't really consider panda cories to be the most robust cory cat out there. They just seem a little bit more touchy. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. A little bit more like, they get freaked out easier. But most cory cats, like, believe this particular combination, if you go downstairs right now, each wild betta species we have has a cory cat in the tank.
Nice.
Because they seem to do well together.
Yeah, it works.
Why
they can also handle the lower water movement. They've got the supplemental breathing organ in them. They can breathe from the surface just like the betta can, and I think it's great.
And there's so many varieties, and cories have it all. Like, they really do. They can go in so many tanks.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel the need to put my flag on this hill and say, this is a pairing I have at home right now.
Nice.
I've got a black avatar male betta with some albino sturvey cories.
You know, I bet that's the one genus that all three of us have in our home tanks.
I don't have any cories.
You don't have any?
Mm-mm.
I was wrong.
I've never kept a cory at home.
Get with the Cory Club, Amy. It's cool.
You should be like, out of spite, just take home those aspidoras, just to be like edge that line and be like, well.
Okay, like, here's the terrible thing about it. I don't feed enough to keep cories.
Oh no, you'll be fine.
Like, I just don't. Food doesn't hit the bottom in my tanks, and I feed every few days.
Mine either, and my cories are 12 years old.
Little cory cataracts.
Yeah.
I think that was a good combination, Charles. I like it.
Perfect. All right, I actually have two left because they were both ones that were not super specific or I didn't feel strongly about. One of mine is really general. My other one is sort of a guess of something I thought I'd be cool. Which one do you want to talk about?
I want to hear the guess one. I don't know why, but I want to hear it.
All right.
So I was trying to think of, like, if you want to do shell dwellers, what's the other fish with them?
Oh.
And I chose redfin caudopunctatus because I think they're awesome. Mm-hmm. And I chose another Tanganyikan that I thought would look cool with them and I think would get along well. But I have very little experience in Tanganyikans, so I'm not going to put a stamp on it. Yes, this will work.
Okay, so to me, the quintessential combination with a shell dweller would be one of the Cyprichromis. I think that would be like perfect.
Yeah.
The Sheds Aquarium in Chicago has them with Tropheus.
Ooh. Oh, interesting.
which would look very cool. I'm not sure how they're successfully feeding the shell dwellers without giving the bloat to the Tropheus.
Right.
But they're doing it because it looks really cool.
They're just better than we are, okay?
But the other Tanganyikan to do with the shell dwellers.
Keeping in mind that I don't know if this would work at all. I wanted to ask you.
Lots of them would work. Threats?
Nope. We have it right now if it helps.
For Shardies?
No, I thought they would be too much in each other's faces.
I'm not sure which one.
I went with Lulupai. They seem to be a little bit more higher water.
Lulupai is actually, they specialize in sucking fry out of shells.
Oh, interesting. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the Lake Tanganyikan equivalent of the blue paradise fish and the... No.
That's so fun. I didn't know that. No, I didn't do any research on this other than I thought they would look really cool together.
They would look cool together. It'd be tough on the shell dwellers, but it would look cool together.
Sips are a much better combination, but I didn't know the sips. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about that because I feel like a lot of people are really interested in shellies. I get a lot of... It's the only African cichlids I get questions about recently other than people who keep peacocks.
You could easily do shell dwellers with a lot of the Malawi cichlids.
Okay.
I know you're not being true to form there. But
No. I want to hear what your take is on what other cichlids to keep with shell dwellers.
Yeah, lots of the Mbuna. I mean, shell dwellers are going to hold their own with just about anything.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What about people who want a 20-gallon? Is it just shellies at that point?
You could do demasonized in the 20.
Would you do a pair of them?
You could maybe even do more than just a pair. You want to crowd them a little bit.
Right.
Do some big water changes.
That would be really pretty.
You could do demasonized.
Yeah.
What else?
Are there non-cichlids that would do well with shellies?
Yeah, giant danios or any of the
even
robust...
not giant danios, right? They get like an inch and a half.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It's just sacrilege. I've thought about you could do them in a community tank.
Oh, you easily could. Well, the only thing that you'd have to watch is they will rearrange everything.
Yeah.
They're really, really good at it.
This sounds like you're trying to make a small version of your buffalo head tank.
Well, a little bit, but shell dwellers are their own such specific thing. It feels like the only way to do them is to do a biotope designed around them.
Mm-hmm. They're feisty little suckers. So, and anything else that's going to want to hang out on the bottom is going to have a hard time because the shellies are going to be so territorial. When I was raising up some juvenile Pseudotrophus acei, so one of the classic umbunas, and it was in a 20 high, and that's where I had my shell dwellers. And I had a pretty decent pile of rocks with the shells. The aceis did not go in the bottom half of the tank. Like they acted like a group of schooling fish at the surface because the shell dwellers wouldn't let them anywhere near it.
They're probably worth keeping alone anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. But well, if you do have a dither with them, you'll see them more. You'll get better behavior out of them. So one of the Danios, I think, is a great option.
Cool.
This is a really off the wall. I'm trying to think how I wanted this question. Could some of the Notho Achilles hold their own against them?
I think they compete with bottom space.
That's
right. Oh, maybe an Ethiosemyon instead.
Yeah, maybe a mop spawning, something that would hang out near the top.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't answer that question. I don't know.
Okay.
It's like a worthy thought. It just feels weird and wrong.
I would be scared to try it because I like the killifish so much.
What if it was something really sturdy like a gardener eye?
Still, they're not. I mean, it's still. Yeah, you're talking a fish whose life is designed to look really, really pretty and attract a ton of attention.
Yeah.
And I think it would attract a ton of negative attention.
What about some of the little more peaceful killies, like the
like the lamp eyes?
Yeah.
I think that'll be too delicate.
Too delicate.
Yeah. Yeah. A little Noth or a little shell dweller defending its shell.
Yeah.
Don't mess with them. I mean, they're feisty.
Yeah, definitely need height if you're going to add anything to that tank.
Yeah, for sure. You could probably get away with a group of Shelleys and with some Frontosas.
Really?
Yeah, full adult Frontosas, and they'd probably raise them up.
I love when people dedicate like the full bottom of their big tanks to Shelleys. I think that's such a cool look. Like we're an hour into this podcast, so I feel comfortable saying this because anyone who's still with us is with us.
Right.
All Mbuna tanks are outdated and boring.
Yeah.
I don't mean every Mbuna tank. I mean tanks that are exclusively Mbuna. Yeah. But if you plan more around the way that we do with our typical community tanks, like bottom, middle, top, and categorizing things in aggression levels, and rather than throwing every different color together,
right?
Like I think you could have more fun.
I think if you did, let's go with the classic Mbuna tank, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna go to 55, right? Because I got my 55-gallon tank. Sorry to all those people with 55-gallon tank. I don't mean to be mocking. I just realized that came off that way, but
It's just like the classic.
Y'all know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
A group of Shelleys in the bottom of that with yellow labs and demasonize.
That'd be beautiful. That'd be so active.
A great big group of rocks. They are, to me, my experience has been one of the least likely interbreeding combinations between labs and demasonize. They're still gonna eventually, but least likely.
I mean, just yellow labs and redfin caudopunctatus. The color's there, the contrast is there. Like, I think it would still be a beautiful active tank.
Caudos are going to be smaller and a little more. I don't know if they're going to hold up against the yellow labs.
You'd rather do like the multis, or what's a better Shelley for that?
Yeah, multifasciatus or brevis. Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
We definitely don't talk about those guys enough. People really like them.
Can I do one more?
Yeah, I've got one more too, actually.
Okay, good.
Go for it.
I had to go there because what's a watercolors podcast without bringing up convex cichlids?
I say giant Danios.
Nope.
No?
I honestly have no idea.
We have it downstairs.
Like in
You're talking about the Buenos Aires?
Yeah.
You know those
Okay.
things look like they got the shit beat out of them, right?
There's got to be more of them. We've got 200 convex cichlids and 6 Buenos Aires touches.
It's not fair at all.
Yeah, we need
That
to
is a really
switch
cool
that
looking
ratio.
combination.
Well, and it's biotope.
Is it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
That would be pretty
Both
too.
of those fish are found all over Central America.
Well, and you get those convicts sometimes that have the orange belly.
Yeah.
Like if you got those in the Buenos Aires, the color would really play off of each other too.
Did you actually said Buenos Aires, right? So you get 2 points?
I didn't. I said I have no idea.
I said when you said they're
did.
downstairs together,
that means you get
that
2
was
points.
a cheat.
No, you're just going to get 1 point.
I get 1 point.
Just 1 point for that.
Half points.
You're still kicking everybody's ass. I only have 2 points, so you know.
That is a really cool one. So we talked about convicts a lot.
Yeah.
So-
So like it's a fish that if you do convicts right, do them in a big group with a big group of rocks, put some driftwood in there to make it look like it's actually Central American, nice sand bottom, and then a substantial school of Buenos Aires tetras. That would look really cool. I think it would be an amazing tank.
I think so. It would be so active too.
Yeah.
So
and
much
get the
movement.
scape, like really focus in on where every piece of that hardscape belongs. So
Lace
that
rock?
it draws your eye. I wouldn't do lace rock. I would do Searyu or Riverstone, but probably Searyu.
It'd be
You
beautiful.
can play with the lines and get the striation in the rock to draw your eye and work like arrows to point to focal points of the tank. And
I wonder if Searyu and then like Searyu rubble, like chip it up into and like kind of fade it out, and so it's like a rock pile.
I think that would be sweet.
It'd be gorgeous.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Charles, you were really quiet on that one.
Yeah. Do you have something to say about convict cichlids, Charles?
I have many things to say. No, I was kind of just along for the ride for that one because I like the second you said convict cichlids, I literally just went blank and I was like, I have no idea.
It's one of those fish that I mean, I don't know that there's an easier fish to take care of than a convict cichlid, other than the fact that they want to kill lots of stuff.
But that's because they're great parents.
Yes.
Yes. Like, oh, be mad at your fish because they're so good at surviving.
Right. Yeah.
Cool. Charles, do you have another one?
Not really. What I have is a concept more, and it's why I kind of just didn't bring it up. But I guess I'll give you a specific fish. I'll say cherry barbs.
Like the quintessential combination with cherry barbs?
I am going to say I have a specific concept of like, let's just say I think barbs but I'm saying I'm being nice and giving you cherry barb.
Okay. Barbs and loaches.
I don't disagree with you. But
that's not what you were thinking.
But that's not where I'm
So
going.
that means that I don't get the point then. Because it wasn't what you were thinking.
I don't know where you're going with this. I would assume it would be a bottom dweller, just
Nope.
to sort of offset. No. Bettas. I don't know.
I would, for the cherry barb, I would say a checkerboard barb. For me,
barbs and other barbs.
Yeah, because
Barbs and more barbs.
if you pick a barb and pair it with another barb that lives in a similar habitat but doesn't behave quite the same way, you can get a lot of activity in your tank. Like
That's true.
I think one of the most active tanks I've ever seen in my life was it had, and I don't even know what species of Dickensia barb it was, but it had like 20 of them. And then it had like 20 red panda barbs.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh,
that would
yeah.
be really
And
cool.
that tank had so much happening.
And they act really different, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you can find barbs that come from a similar habitat, not the same habitat, but a similar, like panda barbs and Dickensias both come from fast-flowing streams, but behave very differently.
Yeah.
You can get something really interesting happening.
Mm-hmm.
And barbs do kind of, like, to me, they look similar just in that they're all very distinctly barb looking, but behaviorally they're all very different.
Yeah.
Aren't they all mean?
No. There are a few species out there that are definitely a little bit more pushy, but like a Dickensia barb, it's a 5-inch fish that's active. Like,
Yeah.
what do you expect from it? Whereas, like, I'll fully admit, like, captive, like, earlier I said clown loaches and wild tiger barbs. There's a specific reason why I said wild tiger barbs.
Right.
For some reason,
Right.
the domestic hybrid strains, they're just jerks.
They've been bred into psychopaths.
I know.
Although clown loaches might be one of the few things that can stand up to them.
Yeah. But no, my experience is that barbs are usually pretty easygoing. Like the Hexazona barbs, I genuinely describe as cardinal tetras with a bigger body.
Yeah, I think that's the combination, or that's the discussion that needs to happen more around barbs than me making jokes about them all being mean.
They are great at living in the habitats they live in. So like when you live in a fast-flowing habitat and you need to be fast to catch food, like a Dickensia barb, they're going to come off as pushy because how else are you going to survive?
Yeah. 5 inches of pure attitude.
Exactly. And you know what? They're gorgeous.
They are gorgeous. They're so pretty. All right, I've got an easy guesser.
Okay.
Does anybody need points?
I really, really kind of do.
All right. I put, and this is a very general one, any Pelvicochromis species.
With any Congo tetra.
There you go.
Yes, that was with 18 points. I didn't tell you that, but no, it's just with
There are
my
so
normal
many.
2.
You can get as pretty rare as you want in either category or as very simple pared down as you want.
A standard cribensis or a standard Pelvicochromer pulcher or the crib with regular Congo tetras, or orange flash with
I don't know, the
Teniatus
species that
Mbue.
aren't described.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
I think Amy gets a point just for coming up with that idea.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Because that is really
It's really that simple. And you could spend $5 or $50. I think every combination looks almost as beautiful. You just get more bragging rights the rarer it is.
I think that's as good as the a pisto and pencil combination. I mean, that's
So it's just
Yeah.
scaled up a little bit.
yeah.
Here's going to be my counterpoint, though. I think it's just as good. No one does it.
That's true.
No, I agree.
You know what? Like if you do a pencilfish apisto combo, that's really cool. I love it. That's one of my favorite combos.
Yeah.
But if you come in and tell me, I have Pelvichromis sylviae and I have just a standard school of Congo tetras, I don't know anyone with a tank like that. That's
But it
cool.
would be awesome.
And
Yeah.
it's probably the easiest way to get a complete rainbow of colors in your tank.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
color combos and like how different they are to other fish is amazing. Like their Congo tetras to me are as diverse color wise as rainbow fish are.
I would argue.
There's so many varieties.
Yeah.
New ones keep being discovered or being available at least.
Yeah. There's red, orange, blue, yellow, pink. It's all there.
Yeah. Yep.
And pretty much the same for Pelvichromis too. You're not going to get, I mean, if you branch out into the Enigmatochromis, you can even get blue. It's crazy.
That's true.
Yeah, that female Enigmatochromis, the part that really blows me away isn't her blue, is that she gets a little bit of purple. And it's so hard to find good
She
purple in
is
freshwater
sweet.
fish.
It's so hard to find both of those colors, and you can
Yeah.
get it in one fish.
Yeah.
Nuts.
You got to come in and check out our Enigmatochromis in that front tank in the store.
It's so hard to take a
I
picture
was
of her
hesitant
too.
of the display, but it was the right call.
With the Sundadanio goblinus with the nice blue.
I know. It just works.
Ah, so cool.
Yeah, on paper, it doesn't sound like it should work, though. I was with you on that,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah.
I've just been sick of like us doing all this work to condition. We got those fish so tiny, and Charles has been growing up this female, and you just sort of see her gaining more and more color because she was so bland to begin with. And like, I'm like, really? We're not going to put this in our display? We've done so much work to get it. It's the way it's supposed to look. Those are one of my favorites. A little smaller than Pelvichromis.
Now somebody's got to come in and buy it.
I'm not going to complain.
I honestly and genuinely like a year ago, Amy kind of got me on the like Pelvichromis train where I was like, okay, I like them. The Enigmatochromis like took that like torch and we're just like, let's take it another 5 miles. And I'm like, wow,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
that thing is cool.
They're beautiful. Yep. Well, I think we did a good job here, guys. I think we came up with some pretty fun combinations, and the categorical combinations to me seem to be the takeaway from this. You know,
Yeah.
the Congo tetras and the Pelvichromis, the pencilfish and the apistos, the barbs and the barbs, or the barbs and the loaches.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those are the ones that we can put that like quintessential stamp on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it just works. And, you know, don't forget my convex cichlids and my Buenos Aires tetras.
Yeah.
Or your neon tetras and your other neon tetras.
And my other neon tetras.
I would put all of those right up there with that.
I think you're right.
What are your favorite combinations? Let us know, because we love to see what you have in your tanks here. We love pictures. Please send them to us. That we eat that up.
I want to speak directly to the viewers. We recently posted some photos of Sally's aquascape she's been working on, and a handful of people responded with aquascapes that they've been working on.
Oh, cool.
I love that.
those.
Yes.
Yes,
That's very
even
cool.
if you feel like your tank is not that great or whatever, all of our tanks are works in progress. We want to know where you're at right now.
Yeah.
That's the right way to say it. Yep.
If a tank is complete, it stops being fun to me because it's no longer a project.
Exactly. So be sure to head over to our Facebook page to see more of that kind of discussion. We'd love to have you there. Check out Instagram as well. We post a lot of pictures there. Send us an email at podcast@watercolorsaquariumgallery.com, especially if you have any questions, comments, concerns. We're there for that too.
Thank you so much for listening. Let's have lots of fun and keep those hands wet.